Welcome to Star Citizen and a very special guide. And as we can see from the logo in the upper right corner, today it's all about SC Trade Tools. No matter if you're trading or mining, SC Trade Tools is my favorite tool and I use it regularly. So I dedicate this guide only to SC Trade Tools because we can go into complete detail here, so you can get the best out of it for your trading route or for your next mining trip. And one more thing first, of course there are other good trade tools and trading sites I have already mentioned in other videos, but today I will deal with SC Trading Tools because this is the tool I use most myself. On sc-trading.tools we will come to the website and here we have 6 different choices. But before we look at these areas in detail, let's take a look at the facts section. There you will find some interesting questions with the corresponding answers. SC Trade Tools is divided into 6 sections: trade routes, best buyer or route, mining, commodities and shops. And we start with the trade route section, which is one of the core functions and therefore we will go into it in detail. The function is very simple and easy at first sight and we have the possibility to quickly find the route for our ships. We simply select the ship we have, the amount we have in our account, and if we don't want to configure anything else we can simply click on submit and get a display of what we can make with our UECs in terms of maximum possible profit. However, it is worth going into detail here. Profit over time is not only about how much profit the route makes, but also about how fast the route is. And with the pure profit option the time factor doesn't matter at all and we have the maximum profit margin that is possible in the verse. We can also define the limit of stops we have on the route and also avoid waiting times or specify how long we want to wait for a maximum of 1 point. In my opinion, one of the most important points are the stock details. You should always activate this function and you will see how much material is refilled or available in which time. Under the area commodities and here under types we find whole product groups. If we indicate minerals, for example, only diamonds, laranite and all minerals are shown. And so we can either hide all other products, or if we say that we are only looking for these products, everything else is hidden. With the second option, the commodities themselves, we can also specify individual trading goods exclusively or exclude them. For example, if we want a trading route and want to exclude laranite because it's traded a lot, we can do that and have all other materials displayed. Under the point maximum commodity value we can also specify how much of these respective material we need. And the last point is also important, we can also specify under types if we want to avoid all cities, for example. This way a trade route is generated for us where we don't have to land in Laurelville Area 18 or New Babbage. And with these first simple options on the trade routes, we can create a very good customized route which corresponds exactly to our wishes. Here we have, for example, a maximum profit route with few stops without restrictions, and this we are of course shown a calculated maximum possible route. And this is of course the laranite route via aerial. In this case it goes to Port Olisar because we have excluded cities as a destination. However, everyone who has ever traded knows that we can't get a caterpillar full of laranite up to date, because the buy and sell options also depend on what other players are trading or if they have bought before us. So again, these are calculated routes based on the game data and always calculated with a maximum, because the fluctuations of price and availability in the game changes regularly. That means if no other player is trading, you can fly this route. And to explain the filter mechanics again, if we take out the filter cities here, the destination will no longer be Port Olisar but Laurelville. If you have activated the function Show Stock Details, you will see the maximum sale and purchase amount at the respective trading point. This is not only valid for you, but for all players on your server cluster. Therefore, this information should always be used with caution, and especially for smaller trading posts that offer a limited amount of goods, it can happen that the goods are sold out. If the refresh rate is also relatively low and there is not much refilling, you will probably have to wait longer until you can buy something again. You can also see in the trade routes that you are not only shown a maximum profit in the middle, but also a UEC per minute variant. And this is actually the most important one, because for example a trade route that brings you a profit of 400,000 UEC is worth 1 hour less than a trade route that would bring you 100,000 UEC in 10 minutes. Here, for example, we have shown Tram Myers as station, and you can see already in the stock details that the refresh rate is exorbitant high, so you can always assume that you can buy diamonds in Tram and Myers. And if you have found an interesting route for you, you can click on alternative commodities and see what else is sold and bought at the respective stations, also at the destination and endpoint. This way, you also have an overview of Plan B, if the main material you want to buy is not sufficiently available. Let's go to the second part, Best Buyer. This simple function tells us for each item where we can sell it best and with the most profit. However, there are some small things that can make life easier for us. For diamonds, for example, we give the amount we have and can also do other small tweaks. Stolen cargo speaks for itself. We can't sell everywhere, but only at station where stolen goods are accepted. And again, we can activate the stock details and see how much we can sell of which good and where. This is important, for example, if you should ever fly an illegal trade route. If we want to sell stolen diamonds, for example, this is only possible in Grimhex. Therefore, we change to another trade good, namely the popular medical supplies. These are currently very popular because they can make a very high profit, but have a considerable disadvantage. And that is the limited saleability. As we have seen, if we want to sell 2,500 units, this is only possible at a few main trading points. If we have less with us, this is possible and almost on every trading point. Therefore, make sure the amount you buy can also be sold. If you want details about a certain trade point, it is enough to click on it and you can see again in detail what you can alternatively buy and sell at these points. Here, for example, we have entered the Widow, and if we really had a full load that is 2,500 units to sell, we would have no seller at all who would buy such a quantity at once. If we reduce the quantity to 250 units, we will then also see a buyer. Let's move to the third part, en route. Here we can enter if we want to fly from A to B with our ship, how much we have in initial capital and which ship we have on the way. And of course, we also have the possibility to apply individual filters here. That means to reduce the number of stops or, for example, to show waiting times and stock details. As usual, we can exclude certain goods or search for them by preference, and we can select and deselect locations or whole regions. I highly recommend this function if you just fly from A to B, so you might be able to do a few more UACs relatively quickly on the way. As we can see here, this doesn't work for every start and destination, but there's always something nearby where you can make some profit. It doesn't have to be much, but if we fly the route anyway, so it is worth to take some extra UAC with you. For example, if we have to fly from New Babbage to Port Olisar, we can make an additional 30,000 UAC with a Caterpillar. The costs for the flight are covered, and maybe you consider to fly such routes with a cargo ship. The next part is not for trading but for mining. We can choose if we are looking for Gregakid rock or ship mining or the multi-tool. And here we also have an additional function. Under the price list we can see which material is profitable for which areas and how much. For example, if we are on the road with a Prospector or with an ARGO Mole, you can see all materials with the respective price lists. Also, these are already highlighted in color where you can see when it is no longer worthwhile to mine. With a click on the respective, well, we also see where we can sell the whole thing, so every currently available terminal. So if you are looking for a point of sale where you can sell your mined minerals, you will have the next time the overview. And for the rock miners among you, if you are looking for Hadanite, so the current best material for the rock, then you can simply search for it and see here on which moon or planet the index for it is the highest. This is data directly from the game, which will be evaluated, and if you look at Aberdeen, Daymar or Ariel, you have a much higher chance to find the popular Hadanite. And of course, this also works with all other materials. For example, Bexalit. So we can display this material and see on which planet or moon we have the highest chance to find Bexalit. And again, a little additional information is important. We also see in which species. That means In an obsidian deposit we have higher chances to find backsolid than in a granite deposit. For the professional miner among you, these are of course visible from a distance and he can save a lot of time with approaching and scanning. This feature is definitely one of the greatest strengths of SC trade tools, and I always use it for every mining trip. Of course, the whole thing works for Quantanium as well, and this is by far the most valuable and we can make the highest profits with it. And here's a little hint again. It makes sense, of course, to look for several valuable materials and to remember the best locations. Maybe there are 1 or 2 planets where not only Quantanium and backsolid are found, but also other good materials. Who knows? In the penultimate part, commodities, we can look for a single commodity. This will not only show us where it is sold, but also where it is bought. Of course, with the respective stock details, the quantities and the refresh rate. Also the prices, the standard prices are stored. For some materials, for example scrap, we see that there are different prices. That means that if we should look for a scrap route, Area 80 is by far the most lucrative place to sell. And of course, this table works for all trade goods. For example, if you want to trade medical supplies, you can see here where they are sold and where they are bought, and with the respective values. So you can put together the route that offers the most for you. And as a last tip, if you have such a route, just have a look at the 2 stations and see here what other materials are available there. Of course, it is also possible to present you a finished trade route that offers you the highest possible win, but then it is only a question of time until many people fly this route, which has the consequence that most of them have no success on this route and the winning fall dramatic. But with this guide you now have everything you need to find your own route, which is specially tailored to you, and then set it up for you. And if something changed in the game, you can simply put it all together again. I hope you enjoyed the video and you leave me a like and a subscribe here. Trading is, and always will be, a lucrative possibility to earn good UAC in the verse. The trading system, however, is not getting simpler but more and more complex, with new materials that cannot be transported at super light speed or sensitive materials that you have to fly carefully when stretched. Of course, there are changes in the trading system with most of the bigger patches, but the basic principle always remains the same. With this guide, you have everything you need to create your personal trading route and to be able to respond to your wishes and needs. If you are also a player like me, who doesn't like to get stuck in land corridors or to travel by train for a long time, you can simply create a route that avoids big cities. I hope I was able to introduce you SC trade tools and make it understandable for you. And I want to say thank you again. I'm not paid by SC Trade Tools or I have something from this video. The whole thing is really out of conviction because I've profited from this tool so far. If you can recommend other sites, write me in the comments, I'll definitely have a look. And of course there is also a giveaway for subscriber of the channel. You can find more information about it in the description. And the best at the end. Thanks to all Patreons and channel members. You rock! I'm looking forward to all your comments, questions and remarks, and try to answer each one. I'll say goodbye and, as always, see you in the verse.